A 90-year-old woman in Okinawa, Japan, has a 36% lower risk of dementia than an American woman her age. She eats roughly 1,800 calories a day. She has never seen the inside of a gym, and her body is running a cellular repair system that most American physicians were never trained to activate. What she does between dinner and breakfast, a 12 to 14-hour gap that she's maintained since childhood, is triggering a Nobel Prize-winning biological process that your body has forgotten how to perform. Most Americans believe that aging is primarily genetic, that if your parents got Alzheimer's or heart disease, you will too, that longevity is a lottery ticket. This belief is factually wrong. Research from the Okinawa Centenarian Study, led by Dr. Bradley Wilcox at Kuakini Medical Center in Honolulu, and spanning over 1,000 centenarians since 1975, has demonstrated that genetics account for roughly one-third of human lifespan variability. One-third. The remaining two-thirds is behavior, environment, and diet. Here's what makes this devastating for Americans. The average life expectancy for a woman in the United States is 79.3 years. In Japan, it's 87.14. That's nearly an 8-year gap. But in Okinawa specifically, the southern archipelago that produces more centenarians per capita than anywhere else on Earth, 68 per 100,000 people, women routinely reach 100 with their cognition intact. Not bedridden, not institutionalized, functional. American medicine focuses overwhelmingly on treating disease after it arrives. Blood pressure medication once your arteries are already stiff. Insulin once your pancreas has already failed. Joint replacement once your cartilage is already gone. The 90-year-old women in Okinawa aren't avoiding disease through superior genetics. They're preventing it through daily practices so simple that Western medicine dismisses them as anecdotal. But the molecular evidence now says otherwise. And the question isn't whether these practices work. The question is why your doctor never told you about the 3 specific mechanisms behind them. Mechanisms that operate in your body right now, mostly switched off. The first mechanism is called autophagy. The word comes from the Greek, auto meaning self, phagy meaning eating. Your cells eating themselves. That sounds destructive. It's actually the most important repair system your body has. Think of it this way. Imagine your kitchen has a recycling bin. Every day, broken plates, expired food, and cracked containers pile up. If nobody ever takes that bin out, eventually you can't cook. The counters are buried. The mold spreads. You stop using the kitchen. Autophagy is the process by which your cells take out that recycling bin, breaking down damaged proteins, defective mitochondria, and cellular debris, then recycling the useful parts into raw materials for new, healthy components. In 2016, Japanese cell biologist Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for identifying the genes that control this process. His work at the Tokyo Institute of Technology proved that autophagy isn't a minor maintenance task. It's essential for preventing cancer, neurodegeneration, and metabolic disease. When autophagy shuts down, damaged cells accumulate. That accumulation is what most people experience as aging. Here's where the Okinawan women come in. Their traditional eating pattern, finishing dinner by 7 p.m., not eating again until 7 or 8 a.m., creates a natural 12 to 14-hour fasting window every single day. Research published in the journal Aging Cell has demonstrated that fasting periods of 12 hours or more activate autophagy through suppression of a growth pathway called mTOR, the mechanistic target of rapamycin. When mTOR is active, your cells are in growth mode, building, expanding. When mTOR is suppressed, through caloric restriction or fasting, your cells switch into cleanup mode. The traditional Okinawan diet was already calorically restricted. Dr. Wilcox's research estimates that Okinawans prior to the 1960s consumed 10 to 15% fewer calories than recommended guidelines, approximately 1,785 calories daily. They weren't starving. They were eating a massive volume of food. 69% of their calories came from sweet potatoes alone, but the caloric density was remarkably low. This is critical. Your body doesn't need starvation to trigger autophagy. It needs a consistent gap between meals and a moderate caloric intake. The Okinawan women weren't following a diet plan. They were following a cultural norm they'd inherited from their grandmothers. And that cultural norm happened to activate the single most powerful anti-aging mechanism in human biology. Some researchers dispute whether the autophagy benefit comes primarily from the fasting window or from the overall caloric restriction. The evidence is still evolving on this, but what nobody disputes is the outcome. Okinawan women have dramatically lower rates of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and dementia than American women of the same age. But autophagy is only the first piece. What happens inside their gut microbiome is even more remarkable. In 2022, researchers from Keio University in Japan and the Broad Institute published findings in Nature Communications showing that centenarians possess a unique gut microbiome. Specifically, their intestinal bacteria produce elevated levels of secondary bile acids, compounds with potent antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties that younger populations and non-centenarians simply don't produce in the same quantities. Your gut is home to roughly 38 trillion bacteria. That's more bacterial cells than human cells in your body. These organisms aren't passengers. They're operating a chemical factory inside your intestines, manufacturing vitamins, regulating immune responses, producing neurotransmitters, and metabolizing food in ways your own cells cannot. Here's the analogy. Imagine your gut as a garden. The bacteria are the soil organisms. If you plant the same 3 crops year after year, the soil becomes depleted. Certain organisms die off. The garden produces less. Eventually, nothing grows well. But if you rotate crops, add diverse organic matter, and let sections rest, the soil thrives. Diversity explodes. The garden becomes self-sustaining. The traditional Okinawan diet created exactly this effect. Their daily intake included fermented soy in the form of miso and tofu, bitter melon, turmeric, seaweed, shiitake mushrooms, and multiple varieties of local vegetables. A 2021 study published in BMC Microbiology, examining elderly Japanese women born in blue zone regions, found that their gut microbial composition was significantly more diverse than age-matched women in urbanized areas, with higher populations of bifidobacterium and lactobacillus species, both associated with reduced systemic inflammation. If you've ever noticed that your digestion has worsened with age, more bloating, more constipation, more food sensitivities, this is what's happening inside your body. Your microbial diversity is collapsing. The standard American diet, high in processed food, refined sugar, and emulsifiers, actively destroys the bacterial species that protect your gut lining. The Okinawan women maintained their diversity because they never stopped eating fermented and fiber-rich whole foods every single day. But there's a deeper connection that most people miss entirely. Your gut bacteria communicate directly with your brain through the vagus nerve, a superhighway of information running from your intestines to your brainstem. When gut inflammation rises, signals travel up that nerve and trigger neuroinflammation. This is now considered a significant contributing factor in Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline after age 65. The research on this link between gut health and brain health is still in early stages. Some scientists dispute the strength of the causal relationship, but the correlation data from Okinawa is striking. If this is connecting for you, if you're starting to see why gut health isn't just about digestion, but about your brain, your inflammation levels, and your risk of dementia, subscribe now. Because what comes next is the part about a specific gene that these women carry at higher rates, and what you can do to mimic its effects even if you don't have it. What almost nobody talks about is the FOXO3 gene. In 2008, a team led by Dr. Bradley Wilcox at Kuakini Medical Center in Hawaii published research showing that a specific variant of the FOXO3 gene, found at significantly higher rates in Okinawan centenarians, was associated with a 2.7-fold increase in the odds of living to 100. This finding has since been replicated in 11 independent studies across German, Chinese, Italian, Danish, and American populations. FOXO3 is now considered one of only 2 genes consistently linked to human longevity across all ethnic groups studied. The other is APOE. Here's what FOXO3 does. It encodes a transcription factor, a protein that switches other genes on and off. When activated, FOXO3 protein turns up your body's production of antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase and catalase. It enhances autophagy. It suppresses chronic inflammation by reducing interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. It protects your stem cells from premature exhaustion. It even helps maintain your telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes that shorten with age. Think of FOXO3 as a master control panel for cellular defense. When it's active, your cells are in protection mode, repairing DNA, destroying damaged components, fighting inflammation. When it's inactive, your cells accumulate damage unchecked. Now here's the part that changes everything. You don't need to be born with the longevity variant of FOXO3 to activate this protein. Caloric restriction activates it. Fasting activates it. Exercise activates it. Specific polyphenol compounds found in green tea, turmeric, and resveratrol have been shown to increase FOXO3 activity in laboratory studies. A 2013 study in rats demonstrated that epigallocatechin gallate from green tea increased FOXO3 levels by 67 to 100% and extended lifespan by 14%. Read that again. Your body already has this machinery. It's not broken, it's dormant. And the Okinawan women, drinking green tea daily, eating turmeric in every meal, fasting overnight without even calling it fasting, have been activating it for their entire lives. The Japanese have a word for this, Ikigai. It translates roughly as a reason for being. A 2022 study published in SSM Population Health, using data from the Japan Gerontological Evaluation Study, 6,441 older adults followed over 3 years, found that those reporting Ikigai had a 31% lower risk of developing functional disability and a 36% lower risk of dementia. This wasn't genetic luck. This was daily purpose combined with daily practice. The women of Okinawa don't see these habits as health interventions. They see them as life. And this reveals the critical difference between the Japanese approach and the American medical model. American medicine treats the body as a machine that breaks down. Japanese cultural practice treats the body as a system that must be maintained, daily, gently, without drama. The distinction isn't philosophical, it's cellular. So the question becomes, if your body has these built-in defense mechanisms, these ancestral repair systems, how do you turn them back on? Here is the specific protocol, drawn from the research on Okinawan longevity practices and the molecular mechanisms behind them. 5 steps, each backed by the science outlined above. Step 1. Establish a consistent 12 to 13-hour overnight fasting window. Finish your last meal by 7 p.m. Don't eat again until 7 or 8 a.m. This is not extreme intermittent fasting. This is what human beings did for most of history before electric lighting and 24-hour refrigerators. This window allows mTOR suppression to occur and autophagy to activate. A 2024 study from the Jackson Laboratory examining caloric restriction in mice confirmed that consistent reduced caloric intake, not occasional extreme fasting, had the greatest impact on lifespan extension. Consistency matters more than severity. Step 2. Adopt the Hara Hachi principle. This is the Okinawan practice of eating until you are 80% full, never stuffed. Practically, this means slowing your eating pace, using smaller plates, and stopping before you feel completely satisfied. Research published in Science Daily in April 2026 confirmed that this practice measurably reduces total daily caloric intake without calorie counting, without hunger, and without nutritional deficiency. Step 3. Eat at least one fermented food daily. Miso soup, plain yogurt with live cultures, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir. The specific choice matters less than the consistency. You are feeding the bacterial species in your gut that produce anti-inflammatory compounds and support your immune system. Dr. Muraki's 2007 cross-sectional study of Japanese elderly women found that those consuming fermented soy products regularly had significantly higher bone mineral density, suggesting the benefits extend beyond gut health alone. Step 4. Drink 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily. Green tea contains epigallocatechin gallate, the compound shown to activate FOXO3. It also contains L-theanine, which promotes calm focus without sedation. The Okinawan women drink jasmine tea and green tea throughout the day as a baseline habit. Not as a supplement, not as a health hack, as a beverage they enjoy. Step 5. Maintain a daily practice that gives you purpose. This isn't vague motivational advice. The JAGE's data is clear. Ikigai reduced dementia risk by 36%. Whether it's tending a garden, teaching a grandchild, volunteering at a community center, or mastering a new skill, the biological mechanism appears to operate through reduced cortisol, improved vagal tone, and sustained neuroplasticity. Dr. Wilcox's team has documented that Okinawan women in Moai groups, lifelong social circles of 5 to 6 women who meet weekly, have measurably lower stress hormones and live an average of 8 years longer than socially isolated counterparts. If even one of these 5 steps was new to you, hit like. It tells the algorithm to show this to more people who need this information. That's how this works. One tap from you reaches someone else. Here's what strikes me most about the Okinawan women. They didn't read a longevity study. They didn't buy a supplement. They didn't follow a protocol they found online. They inherited habits from their mothers and grandmothers, habits that happened to align perfectly with what molecular biology would discover a century later. Autophagy, FOXO3 activation, microbiome diversity, mTOR suppression. These women were doing all of it, through culture, through food, through rhythm, through connection, long before any scientist named the mechanisms. American medicine has extraordinary tools. No one disputes that. But somewhere along the way, we decided that health is something you receive from a professional rather than something you practice every day in your own kitchen, at your own table, with your own hands. The research doesn't support that decision. The data from Okinawa, 50 years of longitudinal centenarian data, says that daily practice beats medical intervention for long-term health outcomes. Not always, but more often than most doctors are willing to admit. Depending on who you ask, this is either a revolution in medicine or a return to common sense. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What was the one habit in this video you wish you'd known 10 years ago? And can you stand on one leg with your eyes closed for 10 seconds? Try it tonight. Most people over 60 cannot. That single test predicts more about your neurological health than most blood panels. Share this with someone who needs it, a sister, a friend, someone who thinks aging is inevitable decline. It isn't. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. What's coming next week involves a mechanism in your spine that 90% of physicians have never been trained to assess. You don't age because time passes. You age because daily repair stops.